Love 1.
I was looking up the head-to-head between her and Ju Chun-hee. Ju Chun-hee hadn't played her with the ante.
Oh, well, we know that Sabine Winter's got a strong forehand, but Wang Yidi gets that one finished off with a strong forehand of her own.
Yeah, the reason I brought up the head-to-head with Ju Chun-hee is that Wang Yidi played Sabine Winter recently when she was already set up with ante on the backhand. Now, if you're not familiar with what that means, you're newer to table tennis, the red side of Sabina's racket will leave the spin on the ball completely instead of gripping it and turning it back. It'll slow it down, it sends back a knuckling shot, she can drop it right behind the net, send it deep, but it's a very funky ball. Look at that, you can see the W for WTT on the ball, the label.
Great work from Winter.
She's only got one side of the racket aggressive. It's the black side, and she'll twiddle from time to time as she did early in this rally. She'll even pull out the UFO from the backhand.
1-4.
When she was in trouble, she was down 0-3 against Du Hoi Kem. She did a lot of receives with the ante. And with the power of her forehand waiting on a serve like this, there's a lot of pressure on the receiver to make sure they keep her off the attack. Sabine Winter has one of the best forehands in the game. And it's really coming to shine with the way she maneuvers the ball using the ante to set up that forehand.
And much better now from Winter after Wang Yidi moved into a pretty strong lead.
We got our first UFO, the first shot. She turned the black over like a windshield wiper without turning the racket around in her hand.
It was amazing that Wang Yidi got that forehand return.
Yeah, this was perfect placement here. Sabine takes a chance on the parallel, and this is the safe play, cross court there, so well played, Yidi.
These players had their respective semi-finals just a matter of hours ago. How will they have recovered in time to, not just physically, but mentally, to play this one?
I thought Sabine did a good job of answering in the interview that got 30 minutes to go home. Spend some time in the hotel. You adapt. This is life. I mean, before the WTT age, there were times where you could just have an entire day at the stadium with 14 tables going in the same hall.
Oh, Sabine Winter takes the lead now, overcoming a slowish start to edge ahead.
I've seen some pictures on Chinese social media of some of the top players in the world sleeping in the training hall between matches, feet up on rollers. Slow and spinny, a lot of ways to use that racket speed. Sabine Winter's incredibly physically fit. The fact that she's enjoying herself, she was spitting a lot of honesty on the mic down there with Iggy earlier. And I love that about her. Look at the momentum, 7 of the last 8 points for the world ranked number 26.
And of course, she has pretty much the entire Infinity Arena behind her as well.
2 Europeans left, 1 in the women's and 1 in the men's singles final. It is so tough to calibrate. Anti-spin to play against. It's just tough to find a practice partner. It's so unusual.
The famous Winter forehand moves 3 points clear.
That guy's face on the right side of the screen before set it perfectly, right behind Tamara Boros there.
Wow, and it's game point for Winter. Big chance here for the German.
The way Wang Yidi started, before this match, I was just thinking the main question is who's improved more since they last played.
10-7.
Well, Wang Yidi has been as high as 2 in the rankings. That was last year. Winter, 26 in the world, is the highest she's ever been ranked.
I think she's going to climb a lot after this week, regardless of this match.
8-10.
Too much points saved from the ice-cool Wang Yidi.
Soft hands on the push, gets a little bit of arc out of Winter, leaves it low enough and close to the table so that she couldn't drive it. There's the crowd behind Sabine Winter.
Frustration for Wang Yidi. Sabine Winter takes the early advantage.
I wouldn't be surprised to see some longer serves. There we go.
1 love.
Now, one thing Sabine does incredibly well is twiddle at the point of contact. So you might think the ante is on the backhand, and then suddenly the black spinny on the backhand.
Love 2.
Well, 2 points, 1 on serve, and this is the start that the third seed needed here. Powering pass with the forehand.
That's a killer shot. Short side of the table, heavy spin coming in, commitment, calibration, touching ground again. It is such an epic pose. Now, while she gets the break off the net here, once again, it's a slightly higher, slower ball. From down here, you'll see, look at that, it's popped up, but it's uncomfortable. It's way out in front. Wang Yidi doesn't have the whole body behind that shot because how can you?
3-2.
She was stuck with the ante on the forehand in the open rally, and from what I heard in the little German I know, she was definitely not complimenting herself. She thought she had. She just said, be smart about when to twiddle, basically. I can't say what she thought because I don't know, but it looked by that motion. She played it as if she had the black rubber on her forehand. It probably would have come into play as a chop, but it came down to her own side. That's how drastically different the throw angle, the traction, the two rubbers are on Sabine's racket.
Do you think that the momentum after breaking new ground and reaching a final is with Sabine Winter as opposed to with Wang Yidi? The edge?
I think game one. The semifinal, you asked?
I mean, in terms of just coming into this match.
5.
Wow. So I think we just have to take a moment to check this shot out. That was crazy. Again, the backhand side of the racket. Keep your eyes on Sabine's racket. It's the UFO. That was the UFO. Turns it over like a windshield wiper and guides it back perfectly down the line.
5-all.
Yeah, in terms of edge, it's tough for me to say. I can look at the scoreboard. I can tell you that in the semifinals, Sabine played the best I've ever seen her play, and she had 2 match points last time she played Wang Yidi. I can tell you that I think she's probably got more room for improvement because she's just stepping into a new body. This is a completely new game. She's still learning her tactics. Wang Yidi's been playing a very similar game for her career. Yes, there are always tweaks to adjust and make to improve, and she has room for improvement, and maybe she is improving. But there's no question that Sabine Winter is still on her way up in this style.
And in terms of finding this new style that clearly really suits her, you know, how did that come about, and why did it take her to this stage of her career to find it?
Wow. It's going to take some time, but I'll walk you through that.
7-6.
6 feet. I forgot how many feet from stardom. There's a wonderful documentary about being a backup singer. Germany's women have been incredible, and Sabine has been just outside the spotlight as the number 4 woman for a long, long time. Which is crazy because she's good enough to be the leading lady for most countries, for most teams, but Germany just runs that deep. And with the Net Kaufman coming up, Nina Mittelham and others, I think Sabine just realized, you know what, I've got to take a chance. What I'm doing right now won't get me past top 4. And look at her now. Come Tuesday, she'll be the number 1 for the women of Germany. It was essentially a surgery to her style. a complete makeover and a restart. It's a setback at first, but this is where she's come to.
8-all.
You can see how agonizing that was for Winter to miss that one.
Wang Yidi doesn't let you in on many points. When you earn yourself an opportunity at this level, again, it was deuce in the fifth last time for Wang Yidi.
But that one's not coming back, finding a brilliant angle there to sneak past Winter on that forehand side.
The twiddle starts with the opening spin from the backhand and then puts the black right back on the forehand, but Wang Yidi in front.
Did Wang Yidi leave herself open to that attack?
I will credit Sabine Winter by saying her positioning is so good. Look how quickly she's back in center. If that had come back down the line from Sabina's positioning, she probably would have reached it. And Wang Yidi still tried to play the safe shot, maybe even knowing that, using the length of the table, but that's how tough it was to control. Last two-serve combination with Sabine this game.
Brilliant attacking play, though, from Wang Yidi to bring up a game point here.
She was leading heavily in game number one. Toes on the finish line here in game number two for Wang Yidi.
It was a lovely touch from Winter there.
It has to be. The margins, speaking of lovely, a little bit of love from the crowd. By the way, this is a video, not a picture. Good times. After an 11-8 victory, game number two, a bit tighter here, but deuce. One player must have a 2-point lead to take the game, alternating serves.
Outstanding from Winter.
She looked like she was out at this point, and her body said otherwise. Her legs found the wide corner, that reach. Strong stance. That was, the percentages were just plummeting in that point, and Sabine found a way to come through victoriously to set up game point.
Wang Yidi goes long Winter. 2 games to the good man.
Of course, they're both looking for the same answer, success.
Love 1.
Your other question was, what can Wang Yidi do to come back?
That's exactly, yeah.
Well, again, feet, movement, cautious play, use the lengths of the table.
2 love.
3 games, or rather she won the opening 3 games against Miwa Harimoto and then lost the next 3. So Wang Yidi is certainly capable of a comeback.
Perfect length on this serve. A second bounce on her opponent's half of the table for an outright point. And it's Sabine with the black on the backhand to open up.
Wang Yidi in full flow.
We had a UFO. Did we have a twiddle at the end there? Sabine could attack from everywhere. Watch the rubber here. Nope, it's the UFO, so she didn't have to twiddle. It's so cool that she introduced that to her game. In the learning process, she's like, I don't like being stuck without a backhand attack. I don't want to have to twiddle the racket every time. It's one way for her to keep her black on the forehand side to make it easy. One less thing to focus on. But for the opponent, it's the exact opposite. One more guessing game. The high sitters.
5-1.
How many of them? This is very counterintuitive. In general, in table tennis, the idea is to keep it as low as possible so that your opponent doesn't have a very easy target at your side of the table. A higher percentage shot, but Sabine, when she slows it down and leaves it higher, it seems to be bothering Wang Yidi time and time again.
And she's being forced into some awkward positions. Sabine Winter, that one there looked a difficult shot to return, but she recovered well.
Yeah, that's incredible agility there. Had to stop at the chest, just an abbreviated stroke there to cover the middle. Wow, good forehand comes in. Wang Yidi just redirecting traffic. She's used to the speed. Again, playing speed against the Chinese team, the precision has to be just perfect. Look at the way she guided that ball, added side spin to it.
2-7.
This is a great response from Wang Yidi. Exactly what we would have expected.
We know she's capable. I still have no idea what to expect. I feel like she's played some incredible table tennis, and she's also had some really tough outcomes against players that, well, billions were counting on her to win. Sabine with a little help off the top of the net there, quick to acknowledge it. Tough ball to counter, heavy topspin, but sits high enough.
Some bruising shots there from Wang Yidi.
It's tough to decide how to get out of the way, how to create space. Watch this, she's ready for the UFO for a moment, then she thought forehand, and Wang Yidi goes back the other way. Chu Hui has been there the whole time.
4-9.
It's a superb return from Wang Yidi. She's had a pretty tough draw this week in Montpellier.
Yeah, I need to look back at it, actually. It's sort of crazy thinking about who's left.
10-4.
Nice catch from Sabine Winter, but she couldn't return. And it's Wang Yidi with the game points now.
Then 5.
The forehand clips the top of the net, and it's Wang Yidi talking to a coach in between games here.
The sitter, it's high and it's slow. It's just crazy because you can't, I mean, you can engineer this, but you live your whole life practicing not doing that.
So why is it that Wang Yidi is having trouble returning what look like pretty easy shots?
Right, for anyone who's ever played against Ante, it's a nightmare. It's also a nightmare to learn how to play with. But to elaborate on that, it's such a change in rhythm. Table tennis is a game of rhythm, and the women's game is very much about rhythm, as the UFO has been very prevalent here. We saw it just there. In terms of rhythm, every time Sabine touches it with the red side versus the black side, it's almost the exact opposite. It's a complete shift in timing and spin and speed.
3-2.
And she can play it fast, which is part of the reason she's been so much trouble for everybody. She can drop it right behind the net. She can send it to the baseline, knuckling.
It's a good serve from Wang Yidi that Winter had just a bit of trouble with.
She did put the black on the backhand side to get that spin to stay aggressive, then twiddles, turns it 180 degrees to flip it back. Clear frustration for the second time we've seen her. Before, when she tapped her head, and here you could feel that it was just a question of decision.
Winter all the way back in no man's land, and you think we might see a timeout coming for the German?
Not like this, no. Typically, a timeout is if someone's coming back against you, and Sabina's in a position to cause Wang Yidi to call a timeout. If she wins the next 3 points, we will.
It's clever work from Wang Yidi to move Winter off the forehand there.
Hey, Chinese watching. Minko, team manager. Nice to see the Chinese squad here. Haven't seen Minko all week.
2-8.
I think with the timeout, the idea is, a smart friend once told me, you only call a timeout if you think it will change the outcome of the match.
9-3.
And the way this game is going, if Sabine calls a timeout right now, it seems much less likely than, say, if she were up by a little bit and the comeback were coming up. Tap of the cheeks there. Wake up, Sabine, she says. 7 of the last 8 for Wang Yidi. That is some serious momentum.
9-4.
But it was so impressive for Winter in that match against Du Hoi Kem when she came from 3 down in a best of 7 to win in 7. That takes some doing.
No pun intended. I think the craziest thing to me, hats off to Du Hoi Kem. She played one of the most amazing matches, truly incredible against Sabine. And Wang Yidi following in her footsteps here. She was able to do it against Shin Yubin. But the patterns, Du Hoi Kem brought this out so many times. She exposed the wide forehand of Sabine Winter, baiting her to step around. And then the length, the closure of that racket, the length of the table, the safe way to go.
1-0.
This is a game that rattles people. I think one of the most frustrating losses I've ever played in nearly 3 decades of competing was losing to an anti-spin player. It makes you feel like you know nothing.
Why don't they all use anti-spin in that case?
Because it's not a good way to win. It's not the most likely way to win. The fact that Sabine Winter, this is suitable for her game, is incredible, but it's also rare. You really have to master this style. A lot of people think of it as a cheat code. If it was, everybody would be using it. And if everybody was using anti-spin, the first player who came out with inverted on both sides, people would say, that's cheap, that's a cheat code, because no one would be used to it.
4-1.
Do you think this is as good as a must-win game for Winter?
Well, you brought up the fact that she came back from down 0-3 against an incredibly well-prepared Du Hoi Kem, so of course she wants to. But no, I think she could come back from 2-3 down. She's done much greater things, I think, score-wise in terms of comebacks.
But against a player like Wang Yidi, that's a different prospect.
Could be right. Yeah, we'll see. It's high. It's the high one again. It's like the tougher the shot is, the more well-prepared she is. The net ball, wow. It's so tough to know exactly how much spin is on it when it comes back.
6-2.
In some senses, when you're on Wang Yidi's side, you know what you're giving to Sabine, and then you have a better sense of what's coming back. It's why you serve long and dead into anti-spin or long pips no sponge.
6-3.
Because you're much more familiar with the lack of spin that's on it. But if you get heavy side spin to Sabine and it comes back, it's going to be the opposite of what your brain is used to 99 times out of 100.
3-7.
I don't think that's an exaggeration. When you look at the women in the top 200 in the world that use anti-spin, I can think of 2. That's 99% that are not using anti-spin.
Popped up high that time, and Wang Yidi was able to deal with it effectively.
It's about time. Well done. At this height, that's about 3 times the height of the net. She drove it deep on the table. Full commitment on the step around.
If she keeps popping them up high, she clearly thinks that that's a good chance to get some points.
It's a fine mix because this one's a little bit shallow. It's inside the baseline. The in and out game, the feet have to move so much, and in and out is much tougher to recognize than side to side. It's depth perception. And if your legs aren't where they need to be, it's tough to lift the ball perfectly.
9-8.
Winter is closing in on this one. This is a brilliant response to going 11-4 down to be pegged back at 2-all.
Just a quick reminder, the last two games, 11-5 and 11-4. That is some incredible dominance. That looks like someone who has solved the puzzle.
But this time it's game points for Winter. She's got 5 of them to regain her advantage in this best of 7.
If the puzzle was solving Sabine and she's a Rubik's Cube, she just re-scrambled herself to get to where she is.
10-6.
New puzzle, do it again, figure me out now. Different tricks in the game. Tactics evolving on both sides, game point saved. 4 more to go for Sabine.
And she strikes and she takes game number 5, now leads 3 games to 2.
1 blow.
Interestingly, the last time they faced each other in the Champions in Yokohama, in the first round, it went to 5. Wang Yidi took the 5th game at 12-10. It was Winter who won the first 2, 11-4, 11-5.
And had 10-8 in the decider.
Yeah. As Wang Yidi maybe slow start and who had to come from behind.
I think it's an understatement to say that these players are competitive.
1.
In a loss like that, when you were worried about going extinct as the number 4 on your team and you took a real chance trying out a rubber that you didn't know if you could play with, to have 2 match points taken away from you, that's motivating. It's frustrating. And there are a few ways you can go when you meet challenges in life. You can give up or you can work harder. We know Sabine's choice every time.
3-2.
Harder, smarter, whatever it may be, figuring out how to do it. It's a tight game here in the 6th.
Keep Winter off that forehand side.
It's tough. She's going to have to be surprising. The setup here is that really shallow ball. She tries to push long. And I think the idea is right, but Sabine played a quality down the line that Wang Yidi couldn't just guide back cross court. It was a guessing game. It was a reach.
3-4.
Another thing is recognizing the patterns of when Sabine is likely to twiddle. If you think she's going to go wide to her forehand, it's going to be trouble. She's stuck with the ante there. That'll be very tough.
Step around.
This might be the most impressive shot. Yeah, she's got muscles. The biceps. Wow. It's just so cool. The power on that. Wang Li-Qin, baby. Just in case you weren't watching when Wang Li-Qin did that back in the day, I think against Timo, there's a shot where he goes inside out. Fan Zhendong did the same. Chinese Super League.
Well, a big step around again, and Wang Yidi left herself exposed there.
I hesitate to say anything because here, I just feel like Sabine Winter is at 110. When she sees an opportunity, she's just ready to crush it.
5-6.
And that's okay. If I'm on her bench, if I'm on Sabine's bench, I say you're taking the right shots. That's the most important thing. You can't control the outcome necessarily, just your decision.
Jaw-dropping rally, mesmerizing stuff. Wang Yidi comes out on top to establish a 2-point cushion here.
It just made me think of your question. How do you avoid the forehand of Sabine? It's almost everywhere. She's got fast feet. This is what the workout sessions are for.
Especially for a taller player, she moves really well.
6.
This is one of the dangers of driving into ante. When it comes back, you deal with all the spin you put in, and we've got our first time out this match. It felt like a very wise time to call that timeout.
6-8.
And a good way to restart.
Yeah, tough position to be in here. Strong serve sets up a wonderful third ball opportunity, and she drives it right into the ante. Except with Sabine behind the table this time. On top of the table, she can slide back and forth and handle this. I don't think ante players get enough credit, really. For any hater in the comment section, just try it. Give it a month.
A blind forehand from Winter down the line. Scores level now.
2 out of the 3 since her opponent's timeout. You could see the crowd's reaction saying, ooh. That one right there.
This is unreal from Winter. She's come from behind now in this game, and she's 2 points from a champion's title.
When you talk about focus, she had 2 match points last time around.
9-all.
So with the 3rd towel break, it is 9 points apiece. And in game number 6, the last 2 serve combination is with Sabine Winter. Look at that, 50%. She needs to double, well, yeah, she needs to double her percentage on these next 2 serves. Otherwise, we're going to deuce.
Unbelievable, Sabine Winter with championship point. She's come from behind in this game. Can she hold her nerve now? Denies Sabine Winter for now. Scores at juice.
She was really quick to get into that serve. It was almost as if she wanted to say, I don't want nerves to get into me. Win quickly, lose slowly. She wanted to ride that wave that we saw between games.
Pushes into the net. Momentum shifts once again. It's a game point for Wang Yidi. Like lightning, Yidi escapes by the skin of her teeth.
So records in the decider, 60% for Wang Yidi, 54 for Sabine Winter. In terms of experience in finals, yeah, Wang Yidi, these are the toughest losses. It's almost like someone who plays a lot of practice and then shows up at a tournament and says, I don't know what it is, but I just tighten up when I go play in an official tournament. I'm so good in the practice hall. Well, you can be really good in the rounds 32 through the semifinals. The final is a different pressure. I think it's fair to say that it could be distracting. You've got trophies right by the side of the table. You start to think about stuff that's not exactly relevant to the game itself, what's waiting on the other side. But the pros know how to shut out the noise. Back, and then right back to that forehand. She twiddles that black side of the racket. Stays on the attack for both of those shots to tie it up.
When Wang Yidi sees Winter with that big step around, that must strike dread into her.
It feels that way. Sabine Winter, incredibly strong. And she's using every ounce of muscle timed just right for that. Look at this, blistering right off the bounce. It's almost like she's angry, but there's focus. She's like, I'm done with that point. Give me another. Bring me one more. Let's get the next point underway. At 10-9 in the last game, there was an element of that on serve. They'll switch sides when one player gets 5 points.
This time it's Wang Yidi who plays Winter at her own game.
When she's turned the corner, these higher ones, again, there's a limit. If you lob it, it's completely different. The in-between height has been tough for Wang Yidi.
Winter's taken down some big names in this tournament. Bernadette Such in straight games, the top European player. Shin Yu-bin, who's climbing steadily back up the rankings as well. She's not here by accident.
She's definitely earned her way here. And that's what awaits the taller one for whoever wins this game.
5-4.
Yidi is holding on here. Still very much in touch with the German.
If you were to paint lines on the screen, where on Wang Yidi's body, from about elbow height to bottom of the chin, it seems like that is the sweet spot for the ante. Of course, it depends where it is on the table and if Wang Yidi can turn the corner.
Sublime shot placement, and it's a 3-point lead now for Winter.
The quality on this shot, but maybe more importantly, the positioning that adds pressure because the wide forehand isn't open or exposed.
7-5.
Well, it popped up and Wang Yidi was onto it that time.
That's a wonderful shot. The step around using the length of the table. Good decision making from Wang Yidi. No hesitation. Wang Yidi is getting tough.
And the crowd's getting loud. Oh.
7-6.
And just like that, she's back to within a point.
This was a page out of the Sabine Winter handbook. That extra drive here. Extra power behind that forehand.
Wang Yidi draws level, and we are in for a tantalizing, tense end to game number 7.
Wang Yidi to even return those, let alone with interest, time and time again. That was jaw-dropping countering. 3 on the trot. 2 serves to come for Wang Yidi.
Oh, and she edges ahead now.
7. Timeout.
Oh, goes long, and it's Wang Yidi who increases her advantage.
5 straight points from Wang Yidi, and this was one of the best. Sabine Winter earned herself an opportunity getting Wang Yidi behind the table, and Wang Yidi still was able to keep quality on her shot despite being that far back.
8-9.
Winter still in touch.
It's tough when you know what your opponent is doing, when you recognize the patterns, but you can't figure out how to find a better option.
Oh, this is unbelievable stuff at play here.
Extra width on this, the drive. When she turned the corner, she needed to make it count. Serves 4% better. Wang Yidi with 56% success. And she's got the last 2 serve combination of this match.
Winter with the push into the net. It's championship point for Wang Yidi. Can she do what Winter was unable to do and convert the championship point? Just the single one to play with, and she has the serve. Wang Yidi does it. Unbelievable. In 7, saves championship point, fends off Sabine Winter.